What is up, survivors? We're back for another mod review, and for today's mod review we're going to be going over the upgraded crop plots mod. It's a pretty straightforward one, but one that I saw and played around with, and I actually really enjoyed it, so I figured let's talk about it. Now obviously things like superstructures and structures plus have their own crop plots, but this actually does a little bit more, and we'll show you why just now. So this is really just a three-piece mod that you're going to unlock. It's these separate crop plots that you're going to need. You're going to unlock an upgraded small, an upgraded medium, and an upgraded large crop plot. The way that you'll craft these things is by using its original counterpart plus some extra resources. So for instance, the small crop plot, we're going to use the original small crop plot, then we're going to add cementing paste, charcoal, crystal to the mix. Essentially, that's what you're going to do for all of these. You're going to add those other three ingredients. Now, the reason why all these are added, which is kind of cool, the idea that why these things were picked for this, is because these crop plots do a couple of different things and they do it really well. So I'm going to start with over here. This is actually something I was playing around with. I wanted to see how you could stack the plots on top of each other and how well it performed, and it actually does really well. So I have like it's 4 large ones, and then 4 mediums stacked on top of that, and then 4 smalls stacked on top of that. And as you can see, it hits greenhouse effect and they all grow really well. Over here, these are just all straight narco berries, and that's really just to kind of look at a few things and test a few things. Now, obviously, I did not line these up perfectly. These do, in fact, snap to each other. Now, they only snap to their likeness, right? So larges will snap to larges, mediums to mediums, and then the smalls to the smalls. Pretty straightforward, but they won't snap to each other. However, as you can see over here, we were able to put them on top of each other pretty evenly, and you're usually pretty good. The borders make it really easy because they're really square borders. It makes it really easy to line them up when you stack them on top if that's something that you want to do. You can also put them on things like ramps or something like that if you want to slope it around. They do still abide by some of the same rules that the original crop plots go by. For instance, for our small crop plots, you can't put vegetables in there, but you can put vegetables in the other ones. You get a higher hit point out of all these crop plots. Exponentially ramps up. I think we're at 6,000 down here. 10,000 or 8,000 on this one, then 10,000 down here. As you'll notice, the greenhouse effect is also significantly higher. This is 1,000 greenhouse effect, 800 greenhouse effect, and 600. So that actually ramps up. The cap at which you can greenhouse effect these guys ramps up as well. Now, I also have these plants irrigated, but they also retain water better as well. So if you had them outside, or if you had water skins slowly draining water into them, this will still work, and it'll actually be even more functional. I don't know if it would work on something like scorched earth where it barely ever rains, but it might be worth a test. So once they're in there, it pretty much works like the usual thing. You put the fertilizer in, you put the seeds in, it'll start making stuff for you. Now, the other trick behind this is that these crops will grow faster than normal crops, but on top of it, they'll cap out at a higher resource take. So what I mean by that is typically crop plots cap out at a certain number of crops they produce, and then you have to pull those out for it to produce more. The cap on this is significantly higher. So for instance, something like this large crop plot would cap out at about 9,000 berries, and I think it's about between 4 and 5k on vegetables as well, so they stack up quite a lot more. And it does ramp down, so these do make sense. I think this one maxes at 6k for the mediums, and then it would go down to 3k for the smalls, which is kind of cool. I like the idea of it actually serving a purpose between growing the small and the medium, the large ones, other than just size. It looks pretty cool too. Also, there's no gaps when these guys snap to each other. They snap to each other perfectly. There's a tiny bit of overlap, as you can see, but in all honesty, I really like it. I really enjoyed all the different added effects to this. I would have liked to see, oftentimes we've seen like the seamless crop plots from things like superstructures and S+. Would have liked to see them kind of add something like this to that. I think combining those two together would be a really cool idea. Man, this is super simple. This is a pretty straightforward mod, obviously. To top it all off, there are I&I settings in the Steam Workshop page to even change all these settings too. So if you want to ramp things up and have them grow faster or have the yield be higher, you'll be able to change that in I&Is. And as always, we leave a link in the description to the workshop page so you guys can check that out at your leisure. I like this mod. It's a very simple one. If you're looking for a farming sort of mod, I think it's definitely important. But you won't get Harvs Corner banners or statues or signs. You might get an Oviraptor who decides to photobomb your stuff. It's still called photobombing when it's a video? I can't remember. Anyway, Harvs Corner Mod in the description. Check that out as well. All in all, I like this one though. It's super cool. I liked how it stacks and it's clean and it all works really well together. I think I get much more out of this. I think the standard crop plots I almost like just don't even want to make because I know how much of a pain in the butt it tends to be sometimes. This speeds the process up and makes it a bit less maintenance. I think I think combining this with something like the seamless crop plots would be really cool, but all in all, I do like the way that it works together, and it works together really well. I also like that these don't snap to the foundations. I know that sounds a little crazy, but they don't snap to the foundations, they snap to each other, which means that you can have your foundations mapped out however you want, and as long as you get the first crop plot where you want it, the rest of it's going to line up pretty well. And as we can see here, like I said, we were able to step these up and down as well, so no issues there. It'll still work with the other plant X, the different type of plant species that you plant in these crop plots. That's still going to apply. The slot size, I didn't go over that one, and actually, I don't know if that slot size is different from the normal ones or not. Let's pull in some of the normal ones just to check. All right, so let's put a small one here and a medium one right. Whoop, not two of them. That'd be kind of silly. And then a large one over here, so we can kind of just compare and contrast real quick. So it looks like there's a 10 slot on this and 20. So it looks like it doubles here. And we're also getting double the health as well, as you can see that. So it's 5,000 health. We're stepping it up to 10,000. And then looks like, yeah, it actually holds more water too. I didn't realize that. It actually holds another 200 water. Cool. But yeah, you do get double slot size with these. With the mediums, I think it ramps up as well. We have 10 here. 15 there, so we do get a little bit more space. It's 400 water here, 600 there, 5,000 health here, 8,000 health here. Moving over to the medium, the small one rather, we get 10 slots on this guy. We get 10, so the same slot size there on the lows, on the small ones rather. 5,000 health, 6,000 health, a little bit more health, and then it holds a little bit more water. So, and they're the same exact size, as you can plainly tell. They take up the same amount of space, which I like. I was a little worried that they might take up a little bit more, but no, not so much. So these work out pretty well. And obviously you could probably mix and match these things if you really wanted to. All in all, overall, quite a better option. I would recommend this one if you're into the more of a PvP and PvE environment. I think that would definitely work better for you. I think this is applicable in a lot of different places that don't have direct access to the sky because it retains water so much better. You might be able to do something like fill water skins and throw them in there and have it trickle the water down and not feel too overburdened with having to constantly irrigate them. The idea that they hold more crops means it's a little less maintenance. You won't have to check the crop plots as often to pull the stuff out. I'm assuming, though, I don't know if that might be moot or not, because predominantly you're probably running some other mods that maybe gather the veggies for you. It'd be interesting to see, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, that's it. That's the upgraded crop plot mod. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We will have a link to the Steam Workshop page in the description of the video as well. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. See you all in the next one.